fine. That's no.
I think puppetry is an idea put to motion, witnessed.
Images or objects animated by people that don't earn any money.
Okay. So, one thing I'll say about hand puppets is normally when you perform with them, they're above your head like this, right?
Yeah.
And whenever you can tell, like the puppeteer is getting really tired when one of the hands starts to droop. And then you have to come back and then they slowly start to droop again and you're like, ooh, and by the end of the 45 minutes your arms feel like they're gonna fall off. But it's worth it.
Trying to operate a marionette for 45 minutes.
It's worse.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
I
hand
think the
puppets
puppets
hurt
worse
a
than-
lot more. Yeah. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. Not like in terms of operating it, but just like physically, like this for 45 minutes is not a fun time. My dad made these to apply for theater school in Montreal when he was in his 20s. And they're paper mache hand puppets. I don't think you should wait for inspiration or chase it. I think you just need to do something every day.
Tristan. Tristan is my inspiration. Even though they stole my jobs.
What about you, Tristan? Any inspirational figures?
Yes. For me, I think for a long time I would be waiting for inspiration as kind of something romantic, and I would just keep waiting for that moment, and when it doesn't happen you question whether you're the right person. Every day I tally how many hours I work on creative things, and I try to beat my previous month's score with tallies. It helps me get to work and maybe not wait for inspiration, but rather kind of plow through it. My coming of age moment as a puppeteer. When I moved to New York, I needed to find work, and I auditioned for a marionette theater called Puppet Works, and I got the part, and I ended up being trained by a master puppeteer who I'll never forget. His name was Mike Leach, and he told me that one of the hardest things to do with a marionette is walk. Flying and twirling and doing big gestures is one thing, but just giving the puppet gravity and making them look like they can walk is very difficult. So a big coming of age moment for me was 6 months later, having done 2 to 3 shows a day, 5 days a week there. The 6 months, my boss, the person training me, told me, hey, you're walking now. And feeling like I could walk with a marionette after all that time in work was a huge turning point for me.
Is this what you want to make out of your life? You want to be a puppet builder now?
Yes, now I do.
Yeah.
I don't want to do software engineering anymore. I just want to build puppets. As long as I can figure out how to have a roof over my head and food in my belly.
When I build for indestructibility.
Yeah.
I want to be sure that when that puppet comes back 20 years or 30 years or 50 years later, that it's the same puppet I made, the puppeteer.
Yeah.
So I tend to overbuild, and part of that is psychological. The puppeteer is creating a character, communicating emotion. The last thing I want the puppeteers to be thinking about is the stability of the puppet.
Yeah.
Puppeteer's concentration,
And-
lack of distraction more than anything else. It shouldn't. The worrying about whether the puppet's going to fail should not be part of the puppet. Traditional puppetry, because there's such an emphasis on the amount of time the puppeteer went to create the puppet itself becomes the valuable object. And I don't think, I think it's putting the emphasis on the wrong thing. The puppeteer's concept of the puppet is the valuable part. So, for example, I made some hands for puppeteers at Puppet Works. For the hands for the fairies in Sleeping Beauty. Yes. And the puppeteers, as sometimes happens, ran the puppets into a bridge rail and broke all the hands. It's no problem. I gave them another set the next day off the printer. It was just they're not, the puppets themselves shouldn't be valuable. It's the idea of the puppet.
Yes, I built a loon. Tristan asked me at the end of a trip to Berlin where we were working on another show together. They kind of coached me through a puppet making building process for Underworld, and they came and was like, water.